anything to do in life once we separate the no, no. It's just everyone, anything to do in life once we I don't know. Just relax. Relax. Relax the supper of advocate to know how to report the views of temptation. And in temptation, knowing courtesy of allowance to be within don't know, don't know, don't know, within self-taught. So within self-taught, based upon the influence of civil rights, no, advocates, no, and perhaps yes. So in that way, if the real roadshow frequently allowing you to deserve the pill, no, the pencil to stock full the manufacturing degree. But in that way, without your store of behavior, no, feeling full of behavior. And in that way, the trust of feeling full of behavior is a stinking sum of individual, no, detail, digitally, the trust of in is overwhelmed by maximum number of trust lung. And in trust lung, whether you believe your own way of withdrawn symptoms, no, symbols, no, symptoms, yes, of that one day you will be widen happy tune, no, it's just a total of the neck because your trust of overwhelming that you want to be the one and 12 more for than himself. If there is no trust of whether you on your own has not been distilled to realize the whelming part. In the whelming part, when you realize the whelming part that you have put through, search for, into, and song into layers of lies without overdoing the amount of whelm And in that way, where you do not know how to exceed the minimal amount of amphetamine, then you will realize that you never been for it. So, simple thing is, for things you do in life, you overwhelm your pressure of knowing how to be the one. But knowing how to be the one, you need to know self-lum of self-taught. And in self-lum of self-taught, once you realize that you are teaching your own sense, like so, you are overdrawing the minimum amount of distilled. Why? It means that in life, when you put in all the work that you want to, you never know that you will not allocating that in those pieces, yes, in those pieces of being yourself, to guard yourself, to know yourself, to guard yourself, then within yourself you are teaching yourself. And in that way you understand whelming. But for you to understand whelming, being a sex partner is only an aggression. Yes, an aggression. Being the real, see, birth of aggression, to foreplay the real sense of whelming, then you are into do it. So when you are into do it, you realize that you are not allocating how real your sin is. Do you want to know how real your sin is? How real your sin is that you are overdoing the minimum amount of ha. And in that so ha is that within yourself, teaching others, compromising others, whelming into you, then you realize the pressure of your ha is only an overdrawn amount of so everybody, when you first meet someone, when you realize that you are not the one, but you deserve to be the one because you are doing to be the one, then in that way you are not allocating the one. But in that way, when you are not allocating the one, then in yourself, within your welding self, that you are teaching yourself within your if you look like this, you approve? No. you know that the pieces of you will restruct, will convince to last longer. And in that way, when you do that, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your sex partner lasts longer. So, my friends, being into me is knowing that pieces of don't lie. Oh. But if you do that, you are but in that way, when you do that, you're acting like a teapot. Why? Layers of teaching is layers of knowing how to teach your pieces of then in that way you last a tiny bit if both of you reapprove broken tears of heaven, and in broken tears of heaven, when both of you flow through the ward, then there's nothing you can do for teaching, because the downfall is alliance of soul, and in that way each one of you realize that you can never give to be, and in that way the wider you go, the more greed you want, and the more greed you want, it tunes out to your own original sectors of you, and in that way don't do it. Act naturally nutritional, act naturally native, act naturally sequential, act naturally, just act natural. And when you act natural, things that you see, things that you get, things that you down, things that you up, things that you over, things that you know not to, then you are not so in soul building the relationship for any kinds of way. You are classing you, and in that way when you are classing you, then in you you are not offering the overwhelm things that you have done, and in that way you do not know that reality of your human mankind is greedy for more. And in that way, it's just a pretender. So, in that way, it's just a pretender. Then how can you control not to do it? By simply your own greed before you discontinue your own way of being a man. So, when you act like this to meet someone that you want badly, then you are not the one. But perhaps others want you for longer time. Yes, agree. So in that way, others want you for a longer time. And in a longer time, or for a longer time, both of you will have a fight. In which way? Disadvantage is called. And in disadvantage, that both of you having a fight to reallocate the division of overdrawn. Within that way, physically, you never live long because it won't survive. So when you meet someone else without seeing the inside of you, then your conversion is only tiny bits to be happy. And unfortunately, that's how things works. Any kind of parties. So in that way, when you know that you are new to me, then you feel the path of your own new. And in that way, when you do that, you are allocating the dark, dark soul. And in the dark, dark soul, you are not allocating the revision to be the Shah. And in that way, both of us will kill each other. Yes, committing suicide. And in that way, you're gone, I'm gone. Is it worth it? But anyway, the contimer of a pyramid table is that when you know that the overwhelm exceeding the maximum number of you are not consultant, no, you are not contribution, constitution, don't know, contribution of knowing how to effect your own fear. And knowing how to affect your own fear is that you cannot control your own fear before you offer to devisual your impairment. And in that way, the alliance will product their own vision of supporting the right. That means A you want one. B, you greed one. C, you supply one. B, you support one. F, you fail. 3, you born. 4, you fail. 3, you regrow. Option item number 6. You select someone else to repeat. And if so, when you select someone else to repeat, then one day you feel strong to commit suicide. Because your life is not worth it. It's overdrawn. So meeting the right one, meeting the wrong one, is your what? Nearly there. So whoever you are, you have 2 partners together living. And be strong. And in that way, you are ill into being a king. And in that way, when you do that, you are outcasting the society. No, it's M.J. Simpson versus Janet Jackson, one of a song. Later, in that way, you will know that you are king and you are happy. And when you know that you are king, you are happy, you are wanting more and more of someone else. And in that way, if 2 person accept you to be the king, then you're allowed. But if they do not, you're not allowed. Then in that way, 3 of you are just don't know what else to do. So helping others to know what else to do is a common sense of proximity. And the common sense of proximity is that you are not teaching others to be self. And in that way, when you are not teaching others to be self, then you will comprehension that within your anger of fear, you hurt Alan Loy. And in that way, when you hurt Alan Loy, do you hurt others to become you? But exceeding no limits of being self-taught to allocate the neck. So in that way, greeting for soul. Then in that way, the pieces cannot be contributed in the real love. And in this way, your trust of faith is God. Simple things to do is simple things to accept, and simple things to do is things to allow. And in that way, Fox found a bag of a shit. And if Fox found a bag of shit, what shit is bagless? Twisting and twirling into a lacon, because the physical type is that within your bags of shit, then when it crawl into looking for more and more and more, then the contribution of one. Being self-taught is the way to lock and ride by that bag. And when you lock and ride by that bag, you are kuchtuntung into the contribution of allowance. So within that bag, if there is a coin of the contribution, then you have sold. And in that way, you realize that the overdrawn amount of data that each bosses where you work, you hire the drowned of the bags, because you do not allocate your withdrawn fees by banks. And originally, the owner sees that you are not, no, I don't know much about the owners for each businesses, but when you started your business, you offer, yes, a boss, to be a boss. And in that way, when you offer to be the boss, a boss, you have to proactive the premature alert of knowing that each boss is a fair way to sack. And in that way, you redo another boss to, and in that way, you're acting like a shape. Being a boss, being the owner, is a don't do it. So in that way, relaxing of teaching yourself to be whoever you want to be is an applicable of knowing that the allergies of the aggression is forming into your own way. So in your own way, when it forms into your own way, each humankind is overdrawing the withdrawal fees from banks, and in that way You are teaching each other to account each other and to withdraw each other in relation to working somewhere else. And in that way, the next one is keeping aside. So when the next one is keeping aside based upon your employment, sacking the first boss, then accepting the second boss is that you are not on your own being the owner, is the accountant, because in that way you're overwhelming the more. When you do that, your business drops. And when your business drops, you are you are producing the next boss. And when you are producing the next boss, you are looking through which boss is the Lacan. 1, 2, 3, you. So in that way, which boss is the main one to work through, to pass through, to measure through, to teach through, to taught through, to teach through, to see through, to want through, to want through, to gram through. The Gadia. So within this way, in the prism of pyramid table, the highest owner is allocating into the shah of the dark crystal to allow each bosses being well bound by no gods but in soul. Conferment of money. Within the conferment of money, when it opens up, the banks share the Guardia. But in that way, Kelly, which one will close into the tripron before and after it opens for the beacon? When it does that, each veggies is an application to one through each human. So in this way, each human loves the boss to apply, and one soul, when it does that, is a Muslim from Kingdom of Heaven. So one soul, so in that way, one soul that the real owner will spinal, spat through, will flatten each bosses to compromise the contribution of money, because each bosses is allocating into the real sender, which is the owner. And in that way, the end of our life, we are led into beautiful life. So, business owners, I hope you understand that one. And in that way, each bosses work somewhere else today or in the office. I don't know, because you only have one business, right? But owner. So when you have one business, if you want to franchise your business, owner, have a strong path to approve all those bosses. And when you approve all those bosses to franchise more money, great for some. But if you do, you will downfall or downgrade the second owner. So, August Sutcliffe, West End here, don't deal. I'm not doing that. So in that way, franchise, opening another business by the second owner, do two owner, rewind the manifestation. So in that way, you are what does that mean? Two bosses, two franchise, greed, overwhelming the greed of more and more and more. So, Red Dwarf from Kingdom of Heaven, you look like that to challenge against the funny face. Waiting, waiting, and waiting. So when you do that, you're allocating the alliance. Namo Ayudapo. Thank you.